All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you're joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was looking into great ecological, environmental organizations around the world, and one of the ones that came shining through was Meg Wah. So they are in Cameroon, which we're going to hear more about in just a minute, and I reached out to their director, Peter. He's an amazing guy doing just incredible work to raise up this generation of kids to be ecologically aware, to work towards conservation in their community, and to spread their knowledge widely around to their friends and family and beyond. So I instantly wanted to get him in for this program. I'm so excited he can join us today. And I'm going to turn it over to Peter in just a minute. We are broadcasting live from Cameroon. When we tested the other day, connection can be a little iffy, but we're going to see how it goes, hope for the best. And I really appreciate all our teachers live and on YouTube here as we celebrate and showcase such an amazing person and organization. So Peter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello. Happy to be here today. I'm so excited that my organization has been chosen for today's presentation. Actually, I am Ako Peter, like you heard already. I am the founder and director of Meg Wah. Meg Wah actually means my earth. And one of our programs is to raise young environmental ambassadors. And of course, that's what we'll be discussing here today. So I hope you will enjoy the presentation, and I look forward to your questions.
Excellent. I'm going to bring up the presentation now, and you can just start talking about it. Let me know when you want me to switch slides. Excellent.
Okay.
All right. We're going to share that. And present. Good to go.
Perfect. So the logo you're seeing behind, that's the logo of our organization. And like I said before, it's called Meg Wah, which in my dialect means my earth. And yeah, we are a conservation organization. And one of our programs, like I said, is conservation education. So throughout this presentation, we'll be looking at the various things we have been doing in our conservation education. So we'll run through the introduction of our view of the entire organization, why conservation education, our conservation education programs, and then we'll look at what impact we've had this far, and then the future plans. Next slide. Yeah, so Cameroon actually is a country in Central Africa with varied terrain and wildlife. Of course, our capital city is Yaoundé, and the biggest city is a seaport of Douala. Maybe you want to pay a visit to this city one day. And of course, we have the Kribi waterfalls, and also in Limbe, where you have this wonderful creation of God, the sea. We have the Kribi Sea and the Limbe Sea. Of course, we have the Wildlife Center in Limbe and also the Botanical Garden. Cameroon has a population of about 25,000, approximately 26,000 million. That was according to the 2019 World Bank statistics. The country is often called Africa miniature because it has different biodiversity, climatic types, and topography that you find elsewhere in Africa. I hope you're going to enjoy this amazing country with me. And then here you have some of the species of animals that you want to see in this beautiful country called Cameroon. You have the elephants, you have the chimpanzees, you have the python, you have the pangolin, the giant pangolin, and you name it. Next slide. So overview of our organization. Though Cameroon is called Africa in miniature, approximately 1% of our forest is lost annually due to deforestation. And of course, you can understand that this means there is loss of biodiversity, food insecurity, water shortages, and climate change. So one of our vision in Meg Wah, if our entire vision actually in the organization is to see a Cameroon and a world where humans live and thrive in harmony with nature. So to actually realize this vision, we carry out the various activities or the various programs. We have organic farming, agroforestry, tree planting, policy level advocacy, youth leadership training, outdoor environmental education. That's one of them being EcoCamp, And then we equally have the eco kits, which we'll be looking at in a short while. And then building of community orchard for kids by kids, which also we'll look at. And then the water and sanitation activities. Yeah, so why conservation education? One of the reasons why we do conservation education is to raise young environmental ambassadors or leaders that will champion the cause for a healthier, cleaner, and safer environment. The second reason is to cause a mindset shift and build habits in children towards environmental restoration. And then the last reason why we do this is to raise awareness of critical environmental problems among children so they see reasons to be part of the solution. The next slide. Yeah, so we will dive straight into looking at some of our conservation education programs. And the very first one we'll look at is our Eco Camp program. This program was designed basically to take children into the forest, have them in a camp, so they are able to do some environmental restoration activities like cleaning streams, cleaning streams that are, of course, because of climate change, they are drying off and other pollution problems, planting gardens in the forest, and a whole lot of other environmental restoration activities. But as of 2017, when we went to start this program, our country was experiencing some political crisis, so it was difficult for us to carry children to the forest. So we resorted into doing this program in the Botanic Garden and also in the Wildlife Center in one of the cities I named, Limbe. And so we had an amazing program with these children. We had restoration activities. You see where we were in a group. After we've had a restoration activity, we come back in groups and then try to share our experiences, try to share the lessons learned, try to tell the stories of what we think can be done for that to restore the degraded parts. And also they were trained on establishing flower gardens, which you can see in the picture at the far right of me. I know it's different for you. And yeah, we had, this was very, very amazing experience. But then it did not really reflect why we designed the program, because we wanted it to be in a typical forest. So in the later years, we decided to call the program to be Eco Kids. Meanwhile, we have kept this Eco Camp. When places become normal, the children normally will go back to the forest experience. Yeah, so the next slide. These are the different activities still that we did. We did also waste management sorting, and they learned the different ways of sorting waste from household. Yeah, they visited the zoo, like I said. Yeah, the next picture. Next slide. Yeah, so the next, yes, the next program we do with the children is Eco Kids. Like I said, we modified the Eco Camp to Eco Kids. So this was not really reflecting the forest experience, but actually bringing the children now in classrooms and then also outside the classroom. So we learn issues about environmental storytelling. We learned about developing and maintaining an orchard. This was learned both in the classroom and then out of the field. So like when we learn how to develop an orchard, we come out and actually plant trees. Like you see the first picture of that little girl planting. Yeah, some little internet connectivity there. Yeah, but it's okay now. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Is it beautiful? Yeah, yeah, okay. So we had lessons on developing a tree nursery. In the other picture you see, so we actually went to a nursery that has been developed in the garden, the botanical garden in Limbe, and then we had the people there teach the children how to do that, from gathering the manure, putting in the polythene, and up to putting the plants and watering the plants. After this, we expect the children to go and do this in their homes, in their communities, in their schools. So we actually make sure we give them the theory part of it and also the practical aspect of it. The next slide. Yeah, this is the second edition of the Eco Kids program that we had. This was in 2020. We concluded this in October 2020. So in this particular episode, we tried to emulate what used to happen in the yesteryears in our communities, our rural communities, where we had our parents pass on best environmental practices to children in the form of storytelling, traditional tales. So what used to happen is we are kept in the fireside in campfires, and then we have an activity going on, maybe chewing some maize that has been roasted from the fireside, and then we have these stories being told to us. So it was a kind of traditional way that our parents passed to us best environmental practices, which of course some of us were the beneficiaries. So we thought of mimicking this and doing it in urban areas where technology is becoming the order of the day, and the children are actually forgetting their roots, which of course stems from the forest. So we brought this program to make sure we bring back these children into their roots, which is the forest. So in this particular edition, we had the children still in the Limbe Botanic Garden around a fireside, and we had experts from rural communities who told them stories of those days, stories about conserving animals, conserving plant species, issues about climate change, some rivers that the weakness and which have dried up because of climate change. And at the end of the day, we expect the children to take commitments on how they will go spread this message, and also some of the strategies they will take to ensure that as they grow up, this does not repeat itself. So one of the things we try to do is to make sure they get that awareness and they become close to nature. We are reviving environmental consciousness among these children and even adults. Next slides. Yeah, so this the picture you see on my far left is the Limbe beach. They visited the ocean, and then they saw for themselves how climate change is affecting the ocean. And also my far right is visiting an area that was struck by landslides, still in the Limbe coastal zone. And then the picture in the middle is a closing ceremony of this particular program, the second edition of the Eco Kids program. This was a closing ceremony. That's a picture in the middle. The next slides. Yeah, so we want to look at our impact this far concerning our conservation education programs. So throughout this program, we have impacted about 350 children, and this started in 2017. Out of these 350 children, we have at least 100 of them that are leading environmental clubs in their different schools, and about 70 have planted private gardens, and the rest are active, taking part in creating environmental awareness in their communities and clubs. The next slide. Yeah, so our Eco Kids, this is our feature plans. Our Eco Kid is an annual program. The 2020 session was very successful, and we look forward to the 2021 session. We are presently in the lookout for potential partners and donors. Also, in the next 10 years, we intend to set up a green school where the children will gain knowledge and skills in different fields of environmental and conservation education. So we realize that these programs we are doing is very difficult to track our impact. And one of the ways we feel that it will be very easy to measure and track the impact is to have the children in like a school where we will have them for about 10 years to complete our complete curriculum, and by completing that, we are graduating you as an environmental ambassador. At least then we'll be able to actually track our impact. The next slide. Yeah, thank you for listening. And yeah, I look forward to your questions.
Well, thank you so much. What a fantastic presentation and a unique opportunity to hear from a part of the globe that a lot of our students have never had a presentation from before. Again, some of our teachers before we started were looking at Cameroon on a map to find out a little more. So I love the backdrop of highlighting some of the wonderful places in your country and the work that you guys are doing to really make some real good happen. So thank you so much, Peter. That was great. So we're going to dive in with questions now for our live classes. I'm going to come to you guys in just a minute. If you're on YouTube and you want to share questions there, please do. I'd love to take as many as possible. But right now, we've got about 120 kids from across Canada and the United States tuning in. So welcome into all of you. So I'm going to go to Miss Langer's class first. Miss Langer's group is joining us in Cobourg, Ontario. Miss Langer, do you have a question for us?
I just want to, well, first of all, thank you for allowing us. And my class is very involved in conservation, and I couldn't keep you're echoing the importance of children and being these ambassadors to our future, to our ecology. So you're doing these amazing things. How were you inspired to build this school, and how do you feel that children around the world can learn from what you're doing there, your initiatives there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Peter. I don't know if you heard that or not. Did you hear her question?
Yeah, can you just take that?
Yeah, so I can repeat it. She wanted to know, how are you inspired to build this school? How are you inspired to create this program? And what would you recommend to other kids around the world looking to do similar actions to what you're doing with EcoKids?
Yeah, I visited India, where I did 8 months training on social change and leadership. So I was inspired by a school I saw there in India. It's called the Green School. So actually I've been in touch with the proprietor of that school, and we are building a similar curriculum but adapting it to our local context. So that is where first I drew the inspiration. And talking about getting other children around the world join, this is a digital world, and I feel that in future we can do something like exchange. We can have those children who are willing to be part of the program. If we can do it digital, it's fine. But also if they are able to come to Cameroon, actually experience the program live, that will really be nice. And I don't know if I've actually answered the question.
That's a great answer. No, that's fantastic. And I love this international connection that you went to India, brought this back to Cameroon, and now through programs like this and the chance to talk to classrooms across North America, we can spread this message. We can excite people. We can get people involved and engaged. Fantastic, Peter. All right, Miss Johnston's class, if you guys have a question, they're joining us in from Kitchener, Ontario, right down the road for me. Miss Johnston, on it.
Hi there. Thank you so much for the presentation today. The grade 3 class is loving it. They're typing in some questions for me in our chat. So putting together a combination of some of their questions, looking at what is the greatest challenge that you've had in putting your organization together, and how easy is it to have children, and how easy is it for the children to join?
So thank you very much for that question. One of the things we do is we sign partnership with schools, where we first of all create eco clubs in these schools. So we establish a good working relationship with them. So when now we come to have children take part in these programs, we are taking the best performing students in the clubs. So we are selecting the best performing students, and then they have scholarships, because we always have grants to run this project. Each child that comes has a scholarship that takes care of the transportation, the feeding within that time, and every other thing, printing of t-shirts and everything. So each child has a scholarship, but then we have an established partnership with the school, and we have been working with that school for quite a long time to gain their trust.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Peter. Great question, Ms. Johnson's class, and I'm looking forward to coming back in a minute for some more. I want to go to Ms. Saunders' group now, who, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can unmute your mic and come on in. You're in Delaware, right? You're in Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken, which is fantastic. If so, we don't have any groups from there. But yeah, come on up, demute that microphone, and we're good to go. And you guys are right side up now. You fixed the camera. So I can almost hear you, but you need to unmute your microphone. So right on the bottom of your screen, there's a microphone symbol. Take your time, no hurry, all good. There we go. Hi, guys.
What's happening in the forest near where you are, with deforestation?
Yeah, so Peter, if you didn't hear that, what's happening in the forest near you? Is there major deforestation? How are the species being affected? What's going on near you in the forest?
Yeah, actually, like I said, the deforestation is alarming, and this means disappearance of endangered species. We have one of the endangered species is the Cross River gorilla, which is one of the pictures I showed during the introduction. We also have the African elephant, which is endangered, and of course, is a serious threat. The alarming deforestation is a threat to this species. We have a lot of species of flora and fauna that are in great danger because of this deforestation. But not just that, we have lots of communities that normally do not have issues about water crisis, experiencing water crisis now. We have lots of floods occurring, of course, sometimes taking even lives of people, like the situation in Limbe, where the kids visited and they had a life story of a victim. The disappearance of the forest is bringing a lot of untold consequences, which is really detrimental, not only to the environment, but to us, the humans.
And I'm so glad you touched upon this, Peter. This is a story that we're hearing from groups around the world whenever we feature conservation programs, this disconnect between people and nature, and the impact of when you affect the natural world, you affect human communities, you affect those cities, you affect all these people. And so it's important to highlight that they're inextricably linked. You can't affect the forest, you can't affect the ocean without affecting people as well. And so it's even more important to work to help preserve these places. So thank you so much for that. I want to say a shout out to our groups joining in on YouTube in Sudbury, Miss LeGrand's class. Welcome back. We have groups in all the way in British Columbia at 7 in the morning. So thank you guys for waking up early for this as well. I think we're across like 12 or 15 time zones for this program. So that's amazing. I'm going to go back to Miss Langer's class. We're going to do another round of questions. If you have questions on YouTube, please share there as well. But Miss Langer, come on back in.
Normally, my children have questions about your topic, but this time in this presentation, my children are sending me numerous questions.
I think you cut out, Ms. Langer. Oh, you did cut out. If you have a question for us, just mute that mic. We're good to go. Okay. Hi, Ms. Johnson.
Hi there. Again, I'm just switching back and forth on my screen, and my students are posting a ton of questions. Some of the questions that they have center around when the deforestation happens, what actually happens in the impact of the animals and where do they go? And the other thing is, with deforestation, is there a disease in the trees, and are people removing those for another purpose?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Peter. So if you didn't catch that, the question was, when the forest is taken down, when people are cutting down the forest, do the animals have a place to go? Is there another place that they can get away to? And then, is there a disease affecting the trees in the forest? Here in Canada and the US, we have a lot of parasites and insects that really affect trees. Is there anything like that where you are in Cameroon?
Okay, yeah, when the deforestation occurs, Sometimes we have human-wildlife conflict. You have some of these animals, since their habitats have been destroyed. Since their habitats have been destroyed, we have situations where they now come into arable land where the communities have planted their crops, and you have them coming to feed on those crops to destroy the crops. Sometimes you have them coming right into the communities. Sometimes you have them leaving that forest and migrating elsewhere where they can really feel free. And so we have animal migration from their initial habitats to other habitats that sometimes is difficult to trace. Talking about trees illnesses, that is something which is really, really not a problem here. We don't have tree diseases as such here. Is actually not a problem. But the real problem we face is animal wildlife. Those conflicts with the communities because habitats have been destroyed. And also we have the animals migrating to other areas.
It's really interesting that we mentioned wildlife conflicts. Again, this is something that we have in North America regularly as well. A lot of the work that we featured on this program before includes wildlife corridors, where we make sure that animals aren't getting hit by cars, where carnivores living in coexistence with people need to be managed. So whether that's wolves or cougars or bears here in Canada and the US, these issues are again worldwide. And so the chance to touch upon this is really fantastic. Miss Langer, if you do have a question, you can type to me in the chat. I think you were saying that your class doesn't right now, and that's fine, but just let me know and I'll come back live. But I want to go back to Miss Saunders' group for one more. Miss Saunders, just get that microphone unmuted. No hurry, and you're good to go. Hi.
My question was, when did you start the program, and how many kids participate in it?
Yeah.
The very first edition, we had 105 children that participated.
Yeah. And what year was that, Peter?
Yeah, that was July 2017. So it's actually 3 years that we've run the program.
Yeah, and you said now this.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Peter for a second. We'll get him back.
Yeah, I'm back, I think.
You're back. How many kids in 2020 did you have?
Sorry?
How many kids were in the program this past year in 2020?
Oh, 2020, we had 65 children.
Okay. Well, way to go. I mean, again, 3 years on, and to have over 100 kids your first time is unbelievable. That's very rare for environmental organizations, so kudos to you. Peter, is there any last message you'd like to share with us about the amazing work you're doing? I mean, we're almost at the end of the broadcast, so I want to give you the chance to, I know you mentioned you wanted to take pictures of highlighting this. I've been taking some pictures as well, so please do that. But is there anything you want our kids in Canada and the US and beyond to take away from this program and start doing in their own communities?
Hello?
Hi, yes?
Yeah, so I think I have a private question here. Can I read it out? Is it?
Please do, yeah. Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I was sent a private message. So, we are here and can hear you. My children, this is from Kerry Langer. We are here and can hear you. My children usually have direct questions, but this time they have been so inspired to help with the change. Students want to know how they can help. Also, if you have any sharing learning or partnerships with children in your community in Canada, we are in Ontario. Actually, we are exploring different levels of partnerships, and of course, we are very happy to embrace partnerships from different countries and different children all over the world. And there are different ways we can always do that, but I think it would be good if I can have something like an email where maybe I can send these details to. Yeah, we can always discuss that using an email.
That would be wonderful. Well, so what we'll do is, Peter, at the end, I'm going to follow up with our classes that registered today for this program. And if they'd like to be put in touch, if they'd like to connect with you, that's something that we can easily set up. And I know that you and I have talked about our May Backyard Bio program, where you highlight the species that live near you. And so if Ms. Saunders' class, Ms. Johnston, Ms. Saunders' class wanted to take part in that, we could connect where we could all see the wildlife that lives with each other around the globe. So that would be amazing. There you go. Ms. Saunders' class wants to partner with, everyone wants to partner with you, Peter. You're doing it. Oh, dear. Well, thank you so much. What we're going to do now is, Peter, if you'd like to take a picture, I've been taking pictures, as I said, but I know you'd like to do that. I can bring in our classrooms so we can see them all on the screen together, and we could take a photo together, and then we can wrap up from there, and everyone can say a big thank you. This has been so much fun. Excellent. All right. You know what? I'm going to bring you guys in. Miss Langer, Miss Johnson, Miss Saunders. I'm going to get a camera really quick here. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to get a camera, take a picture from the side. You guys can say hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. We've got Delaware, Ontario, Cameroon. Hi, everyone. So, thank you guys so much. We will put you in touch. Really appreciate all this, everybody, and for everyone on YouTube. We appreciate the chance to chat with everybody today. So, thanks, Peter.